afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for the 10th race of the third season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. Here today at Pikes Peak International for 63 laps of racing. And so far, we have had 9 races to start off the season. 9 different drivers have gone to victory lane. 3 of those drivers with yellow stripes in the back bumpers. 3 rookies. I mean, we've got 9 rookies in the rookie class this season. So every time that we come here to a racetrack, 9 rookies in a 40-car field, we've got a little bit under a 25% chance that a rookie is going to go to victory lane. And last week, the most recent, N Hudson taking the checkered flag at Michigan, joining his rookie teammate J Thibodeaux as well as N Ormond, drivers in their first starts at these tracks able to find victory lane. Only time will tell, though, if they can keep the consistency up to make it into the playoffs. On the pole position for today's race is going to be Jack Mitchell. Now, Mitchell struggled back at Pukaka, dropped way down in the point stands, but last week bounced back with a good run at Michigan. So he comes into this race 15th in points. But more importantly for him, he's still looking for his first career Duracell Cup Series victory. Mitchell, Almariego, Adam Garcia, all of them, they started out very first race of the Duracell Cup Series. They are all still looking for their first win of their Duracell Cup Series career. Alongside of him, a driver trying to become the first 2-time winner this season, Dylan Young, who took the checkered flag back at Manassas. He'll line up on the outside of the front row. Now look who's rolling off from third. R Acosta, the defending champion of the series, who comes into this race currently mired down 24th in the points. He's got to get a win to get back and defend his championship. We'll see if it happens here today. Let's go down trackside. Get those with famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
So the field's going to roll off. Check down the description below for your official starting lineup for today's race at Pikes Peak International. Your top 10, the point standings look like this. Zach Rogers is still the points leader. 19 points he holds over Benny Watson. Both drivers had good runs last week at Michigan. Patrick Smith is third in the point standings. He's 35 points back. William Brock, who's starting up inside the top 10 today, he's fourth. He is 42 points back. And Dylan Young, who starts on the outside of the front row, he is fifth in the point standings. He is 56 points back. The rest of your top 10, R Brommer is now up to 6th. James Qualls, who's had a great couple of weeks, he's up to 7th. Cole Deaver sits in 8th. Vince Almariego in 9th. And Cody Llamas currently completes your top 10. 67 points separate the top 10 in the standings coming into today's race. We'll get to as far as our previous race winners in just a moment, where they're situated in points, but it's time to go racing. Let's roll at Pikes Peak. 3 wide already back there for the third position. William Brock dives it deep on R Acosta, puts a defending winner of this track, Zach Rogers, up to the extreme outside line, as Mitchell's going to clear for the top spot. Zach Rogers is the only defending winner at Pikes Peak that's in the field here today. The defending winner of this race is not here. Alexander Rowe, as a rookie, took the checkers here 1 season ago. The 24 car, though, is still here. Defending winner from last week, N Hudson, the driver. 3 wide for the lead. Brock to the inside. Dylan Young in the middle. Pole sitter Mitchell way up topside. And William Brock making some moves early here. Remember, he looked like he was one of the drivers that was going to win last week at Michigan. But after green flag pit stop cycled around, he dropped from first back to third and never was really able to recover. So he's got a little bit of redemption on his mind. Now, as we are, looks like hopefully going to settle into a bit of a green flag run here. Got teammates battling for second, Adam Garcia, Dylan Young, along with Jack Mitchell in the mix, R Acosta joining. The drivers that come into this race, previous winners, Zach Rogers, he is the points leader, obviously. Dylan Young is in 5th. James Qualls in 7th. But then you get down to a little bit of an interesting story brewing with a lot of our former winners. I think the caution actually may be out. Yes, it is. So as they race back to the yellow, you have Carson Gum, our Daytona 500 winner. He's 20th. Carter Friesen, 21st. N Hudson jumped up into the top 30 after his win last week to 23rd. N Ormond, 26th, and J Sandfer in 27th. So a lot of your previous winners from this season outside of the top 20 in points. Sandfer is 9 points ahead of the cut line. Ormond is 10 points ahead of the cut line, that being 30th in the standings. And Jacob Thibodeaux, I mean, we've talked about him back at Springfield, needed a good run. Pukaca needed a good run. Michigan needed a good run. He failed on all three of those races. He's 39th in points coming into this race, and right now sits a total of 38 points behind the 30th in standings cut line. We're under caution. Leader has taken and caught the pace car. Saw the skid marks there, but I don't really see anybody with damage. May have been Kyle Matthews, but I'm not certain. He's there at the rear of the field. But there's nobody with any visible damage. So we'll go back and see what actually brought out this yellow flag. Maybe it was someone just got sideways and they had to throw a yellow for that. But nonetheless, William Brock leads us under our first caution of the day at Pikes Peak. Well, Kyle Matthews was involved, but he wasn't necessarily the cause. 4 wide there. James Qualls, Kyle Matthews, Jordan Lopez, and Aaron Macklin. And there's just not enough room to go 4 wide. Macklin goes around off the nose of Lopez, down in front of Kyle Matthews, but not really a whole lot of damage sustained by any of those drivers. Qualls gets down to the inside to avoid. And slower speeds here at Pikes Peak, so not nearly as violent hits, and it looks like everybody's going to be okay. I don't think anybody's going to have any issue. Qualls actually was down the apron, slid back up the track into Matthew Rodriguez as well. But doesn't look like really any damage sustained by either of those drivers. Ooh, that could have been sketchy. With Matt Rod into Qualls' right rear quarter panel, almost went up and brushed the wall. So we dodged a couple of bullets there. So not really much of a wreck. Brings out the first caution of the day, sets us up for a restart here at Pikes Peak. Green flag set to come back out on lap 8. All 40 cars took the green to start. We'll take the green to continue here on this restart. Nobody came to pit road either, including the drivers that were involved in that wreck. So nobody playing fuel strategy yet. I don't think we would, at least anyway, this early on, be within the fuel window to make it the rest of the way. William Brock restarts the leader. Dylan Young in second. Jack Mitchell fell back to third. Adam Garcia's in fourth. Ryan Acosta fifth. Zach Rogers sixth. Carter Friesen's now up in seventh. Eighth is Jessica Shelton. Ninth, Austin LaPlante. And Marcus Saatchi completes your top 10. Pace car is going to make the left-hand turn, off turn 4. Getting ready to go back racing here. We saw some really good racing all the way through the field with the double file start at the beginning. We'll see now with a single file restart just how bunched up these cars are going to be able to get in battling for position. William Brock got a good jump, so too did Dylan Young though. Brock separated himself from the 2, and Dylan Young separated himself from Jack Mitchell. You got right there, nose to tail, a couple of hopefuls looking for their first career wins in the Duracell Cup Series, Mitchell and Garcia. Mitchell qualified on the pole, got put 3 wide up top side, which dropped him back to around the 4th position. He battled back up to 3rd before that yellow flag, and now he's trying to march his way back up to the front. Winner of this race from Season 1, Zach Rogers, making some moves here. This is for 5th on Ryan Acosta. Zach, the points leader coming into this one, finished 2nd last week at Michigan. Of course, won a few weeks ago as well at Springfield. So now he's looking to rack up as many wins as he can before the regular season comes to a close, because every win is 5 playoff points. Jack Mitchell finally gets to the inside of Dylan Young, and I think he will complete the pass for 2nd off of turn 4. Opens up the door for Adam Garcia to take a look on his teammate. Not quite going to be able to do it. Well, he drives it in deep there into turn 1, and I think he will make the move work this time. Garcia coming into this race 33rd in the point standings. So it has not been a good start to the year for him, and you look back at his past 2 Duracell Cup Series seasons as well, it's kind of been the same old story. However, I have to admit that this season I've seen a little bit more competitiveness out of this 12 team. They just seem to have hard luck hit them in the later stages of the race, whether it be a mistake on pit road or getting caught up in a wreck. But I really think with what I've been seeing out of him, as well as Jack Mitchell and V Almariego, I think we could very well see all 3 of them find victory lane before the end of the season. Saw Charles Sandfer get his first career win back at ISM this year. So I honestly think with the consistency I've seen out of those other three drivers, Mitchell, Garcia, and V Almariego, I think we could see them all find victory lane in the near future, if not today, for Mitchell and Garcia running currently in second and third. But for William Brock, he doesn't want to let another one get away. Made some strong, aggressive moves early on, got himself the race lead. Last week, he led the first 35 laps of the 50-lap event at Michigan, and as mentioned, lost the lead on the cycle of green flag pit stops. Does not want to have something like that happen again. Now, he has taken a checkered flag this season, just not in a points-paying race. He won the Clash back at Daytona to open the season up. And he's been very consistent this year as well. First 9 races, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s, an average finish of around 15th, and he's 4th overall in the standings. His third place run last week jumped him from 8th up to 4th. So he has been very strong this year, just trying to find victory lane, and he's got Jack Mitchell breathing down his neck. Mitchell has now made it kind of a mono-e-mono for the top position. It's about a half second, maybe 6/10 back to third place, which has now gone back to Dylan Young. And now Zach Rogers trying to take 4th place away from Adam Garcia. Looks like Mitchell's got a really good car through the center of the corner. That's where he makes up a lot of his ground on William Brock. Drives it a little bit lower into 3. We'll see if he can continue the momentum off of 4. Again, nice through the center. Pulls right up to the back bumper of the 88. But now he's gotten to him. Now how does he pass him? Ooh, 88 slid up a little bit there. Almost opened up the door, but I don't think Mitchell had enough momentum to stick his nose there. I think right now he's basically just playing the intimidator factor, trying to have the 88 look more in his rearview mirror than out the windshield, make a mistake, and open up the door for Mitchell to be able to go on by. You can clearly see in the corners, Jack Mitchell has the better handling race car. Ooh, he cut William Brock a break there. And I'm also noticing, though, he can't really wait long. Dylan Young is starting to close in on these two, trying to make it a 3-man fight for the race lead. And remember, Dylan Young has a win this season already at Manassas. He's 5th in the point standing, so he can be more aggressive than either of these two drivers in his attempt to get his 2nd win on the year. That last time by, Dylan Young was about 0.6 of a second behind William Brock. You can see him in the same camera shot on the back straightaway. Mitchell appears to have kind of backed off a little bit, not nearly as aggressive with William Brock as he was about 2-3 laps ago. And as laps tick away, we're now on lap number 20. I think these drivers, for the most part, even with the aid of that yellow flag, they're shooting for somewhere around lap 30 to 35. If they can hit that point to make their pit stop, then they should be good to go the rest of the way on one trip to pit road. And remember, it was a green flag pit stop last week that essentially cost William Brock his win. Let's find the guy that took that checkered flag last week. Nathan Hudson. See where he's currently at. There he is. Currently running in the 16th position. This was the car that took the checkered flag here 1 year ago with Alexander Rowe behind the wheel. Alexander Rowe actually became the very first rookie to take a checkered flag in the Duracell Cup Series in last year's Pikes Peak race. 16th, a good run there for Nathan Hudson. I noticed his teammate also is having a decent outing, Jacob Thibodeaux. He needs to have a lot of back-to-back good finishes, though, to counter the poor performances he had back at Springfield, back at Pukaka, last week at Michigan. Right now he is scored in the 10th position, now trying to take 9th away from his teammate Austin LaPlante. So all 4 of the Northeast Motorsports cars are up inside the top 20. Currently you got William Brock in the lead, you've got LaPlante, well, Thibodeaux now in 9th, LaPlante in 10th, and Hudson back in 16th. I also noticed Benny Watson back here. Carter Fries is actually losing some spots. He just fell outside of the top 10 the last couple of laps. Benny Watson trying to make a move on him for 13th place. And for Benny Watson, the last couple of weeks it's been really good. He's been very consistent. The problem is, the guy he's trying to run down for the overall points lead has just been a little bit better in terms of finishing results. Zach Rogers right now is in 6th. A couple of the S3 Motorsports cars up here. Charles Sandfer, our ISN winner. Jessica Shelton right behind him. They're currently in 11th and 12th, now trying to crack into the top 10. Charles Sandfer to the inside of Austin LaPlante. How about T Wright? Last week, a great run at Michigan. Moved him out of the cellar of the point standings. Jumped up to 38th in points coming into this one, and another solid outing for the 28 as we got a battle going on here for 6th. M Saatchi to the inside of Zach Rogers, and looks like he will complete that pass off of turn 4. So Rogers starting to fall back a little bit here. Battle brewing for the 4th position between R Acosta and A Garcia. This is the part of the race where we start to see who has the good long run car. And Dylan Young has now reeled in the top 2. So a couple of Camaros and a Mustang, now all nose to tail. Brock looking for his first win on the season, Mitchell looking for the first win of his career, and Dylan Young looking for his 2nd win on the season to all but confirm him a spot in this season's playoffs. One thing I've noticed in this race particularly that we really haven't had happen in the last few weeks is the lack of rookies up near the front. Right now, we've only got one rookie inside the top 10. That's Jacob Thibodeaux in the 9th position, and it seems like every week we have about 3, maybe 4 rookies up inside of the top 10. And that rookie points battle, we haven't talked about it much the last couple of weeks, and that's because there really isn't much of a rookie points battle going on currently. Patrick Smith comes into this race 8 points over K Deaver, 14 points over N Macklin, no, I miscalculated that, I think. He's 8 points over K Deaver. He is, 12 points over N Macklin, 15 points over Austin Kolano and Phil Parker. So it's not really a close points battle right now. We'll see where Patrick Smith currently is at right at this moment in the 77. Because maybe some of the rookies can make up some ground on him. There he is, 3 wide right now with Cody Lamas and Cole Baker. Last time by scored in 34th, and as he crossed the line, he's now in 33rd. So he's not running all that well. N Macklin right now is dead last in the 40th position. Let's see where the rest of the rookies are at. Charles Belding right now in 28th. N Ormond's currently 23rd. Phil Parker's in 20th. Kolano 19th. Deaver taking the 18th position away from him. There's Hudson right now in 12th as he's trying to get around Carter Friesen. And then there's Jacob Thibodeaux, the highest running rookie right now, in the 9th position. Battle for the lead. Jack Mitchell to the inside of William Brock. He finally is going to make the move just around the halfway point of this race. Dylan Young now going to try and move the 2 to P2. It was just a matter of time until Mitchell finally got fed up with riding behind William Brock and finally makes the move. And this is interesting too that he makes the move at this point in time, nearing the time that we would probably start to see drivers make green flag pit stops. So Mitchell deciding he's not going to take the opportunity and put the pressure on his pit crew to try and gain him that position. He's going to take it himself. This battle for second still side by side, and that's actually hindering Dylan Young and William Brock more than helping them, because that's allowing Jack Mitchell to begin to pull away. He's got almost a half second currently between himself and this side-by-side battle for second place, and at the same time might allow R Acosta and A Garcia to start reeling in Dylan Young and William Brock and make it a 4-man fight for that second position. They're still side-by-side. Brock is not going to give up the position to Dylan Young. Pretty impressed that he's able to get that car to work that well on the outside line, to be honest. Ooh, got a little tight there, though. Had to lift. And that's going to open the door for Dylan Young to clear him. And here comes Mitchell to pit road. So the pit stops begin. Mitchell took the lead. And now he's going to begin the cycle. Adam Garcia is also coming in. Zach Rogers, Marcus Saatchi look like they have also hit the pit lane on this lap. So that turns the lead over to Dylan Young. He'll get the bonus point for lap led. Let's see if he's going to hit pit road this lap. Yes, he is. William Brock's coming in with him as well. And we saw last week, William Brock dominate the Michigan race, but a green flag pit stop cost him the win. Will we see somebody be able to utilize this cycle of green flag pit stops to win this race at Pikes Peak? I mean, Nathan Hudson, I believe, was 4th or 5th when the green flag pit stop cycles began. And obviously we saw him be able to take the race lead. So it's like Nathan Hudson, who we just were talking about, stayed out. I don't think he led the lap, though. He's coming to pit road now, along with Carter Friesen and Austin LaPlante. I believe those are some of the last drivers who are waiting to hit pit lane. Matt Haas as well in the 8, Charles Belding in the 91, and Matthew Rodriguez, I think, as well as Kyle Matthews, are going to be coming in this lap. So who does this cycle the lead around to? Oh, we got a spinner! Spinner on the back stretch! That might be a caution. It is, right in the middle of pit stops. I saw the smoke. I couldn't see the car. And the caution's going to wave right in the middle of green flag pit stops. And now the question is, who's the lead going to cycle to? They're still scoring the 24, the race leader. It all depends on who crossed the start-finish line. Is it going to be Dylan Young? Or did Hudson cross the line the leader, and so he's going to inherit the lead? I don't know. I think it's going to be Dylan Young who's going to be the race leader. We'll wait until they come around to cross the start-finish line. Question is, who brought out the caution? You see the skid marks on the back straightaway. I think someone tried merging back on the track and weren't clear. That's my assumption. But I don't see anybody with damage, so it's hard to tell who it was that brought the yellow flag out. Dylan Young hits the line. He is scored the race leader. So after the cycle of pit stops, that caution is going to have Dylan Young out in front, William Brock second, Ryan Acosta now up to third, Jack Mitchell back to fourth, and Adam Garcia is now going to complete the top 5. Let's go and see what brought out this yellow flag and sets us up for what will be a restart with, I think, just around 20 laps to go. Matthew Rodriguez had already made his pit stop, and I believe it's the 33 of Thibodeaux that's going to be the cause of this one. Oh, Matt Rod was actually coming down to make his pit stop, and Thibodeaux got into him. He was merging back onto the track. And Matt Rod, that explains, I was kind of wondering back when that final group came to pit road, it had Matthew Rodriguez scored ahead of Kyle Matthews. And so I was expecting to see the 57 ahead of 09, but then he was way back, and that explains why. So Matthew Rodriguez and Jacob Thibodeaux contact in intersecting lanes, one coming to pit road and one coming off of pit road, brings out the caution for the second time here today at Pikes Peak. Well, incredible as it may seem, with that caution coming out in the middle of green flag pit stops, it did not trap anybody off the lead lap. All 40 cars are still on the lead lap here. So that is a big rarity, to be honest, especially when a caution comes out right in the middle of green flag pit stops. You normally have drivers that are trapped a lap down, but James Qualls, Aaron Macklin, some of those guys near the tail end of the field, they were ahead of the leaders when the caution came out, so they were able to go around the pace car, and they are still currently on the same lap as the leader, which is Dylan Young. William Brock lines up second. Third is Ryan Acosta. Fourth, Jack Mitchell. Adam Garcia fifth. Marcus Saatchi now up to sixth. I'd watch out for him. He's been charging his way through the front on that last green flag run. Zach Rogers currently in seventh. Eighth is Charles Sandfer. T Wright's in ninth, and completing the top 10 is J Shelton. Benny Watson's up to 11th, Michael Norman 12th, Jesse Turner 13th. The driver that had the contact with Matthew Rodriguez, Jacob Thibodeaux, still runs 14th, Austin Kolano in 15th. Rest of the top 20 are J Millz, Cole Deaver, Levi McIntyre, J Gardner, and last week's winner, Nathan Hudson. Green flag is back in the air, and if my calculations are correct, it's with 22 laps to go. Ryan Acosta going to take advantage here of this restart. Everybody bunched up. He'll go for second on William Brock. Jack Mitchell right there as well. Mitchell was the leader when the pit stop cycles began. He finds himself now mired back in the 4th position. Had to lift there, and that might allow M Saatchi to pounce. Costa trying to clear William Brock as quickly as possible, trying to set his sights now on Dylan Young. Joanna Atwood Motorsports has 2 victories this season with 2 different drivers. Nathan Ormond at Bristol, James Qualls at Pukaka. Ryan Acosta, the defending champion of the series, would love to make it 3 out of the 4. We saw right there him feathering the throttle to avoid running into the back of Dylan Young. The veteran does not want to wreck somebody for the race lead if they can at all help it, especially when there's still quite a ways to go in this race. M Saatchi now going to move into 3rd position, and I believe he's got the best long-run car based on what we saw on that last round of green flag laps. Garcia now going to try and go for 4th place. Charles Sandfer up here in the mix in the 0-3. Mentioned about him down near the danger zone. 9 points ahead of the cut line. Needed a good run here today, did the ISM winner, and currently he is in position of getting it. As 4th place is the best battle up towards the front. Garcia now to the inside of William Brock. M Saatchi looking to the inside of Ryan Acosta. That's for 2nd. And as this run goes on, you got to think it's got to favor Saatchi, but the caution is out. 3rd time today, the yellow flag is going to wave. And I don't think you're going to see anybody on pit road for the race leaders now. They've made their pit stop. They are good to go on fuel. They've got what they've got. And it'll make this next restart very interesting because they just ran, what, about 5 laps, I think, or so on those tires. Well, this time I went back after the last replay to see if I had accidentally maybe set damage to moderate or to none because nobody in the wrecks were getting any damage. Well, driver got damage in this one. Our Bristol winner, Nathan Ormond, collected up in this wreck. Looks like M Haas may have also gotten a piece of it in the 8 car. It's like maybe a 2-car incident. Ormond came into this race 26th in points, only 10 points ahead of 30th in standings, so this could put him in a little bit of a tricky situation heading into next week. Dylan Young continues to lead the way here under caution, but there's some drivers on that last restart that were some movers and shakers, and they may have something to say about this race lead when we go back green. Well, the wreck took place in the back straightaway, but we're going to actually start it down here into turn 1 because this is basically what started it. This is a battle for about the 23rd position. You see right there, Jordan Lopez gives Nathan Ormond a little bump going into the corner. That's going to send the 41 with too much speed up into that higher groove. There's not a whole lot of grip there, and that car, you can see, continues to drift up towards the wall. That's what's going to culminate into starting this wreck, because you'll see K Llamas with a big run up the middle. Ormond's trying to turn left to avoid hitting the wall when he gets out of turn 2, and K Llamas is there. Hooks the 41 down into Keith Batson. Ormond up into the wall, down into M Haas as well. Spins in front of Phil Parker, and I believe everybody else is going to be able to avoid. Boy, Belding nearly hit him. So too did Patrick Smith. Close call for both of those drivers. Ormond gets the car righted and drives away. M Haas, you see there, trying to bring his car to a halt. He also would drive away from the incident. And that's what brings out the caution for the 3rd time here today at Pikes Peak International. Green flag came back out in the air. I got back too late. Dylan Young has checked out to a pretty good lead for the moment over Ryan Acosta. They went back green on lap 50, giving us 14 laps to go. Adam Garcia now challenging M Saatchi for the 3rd position. Charles Sandfer now going to crack the top 5 for the first time today. He's working on William Brock. Oh, Acosta got really high there off of turn 2. I thought Garcia might actually get to his inside for second place. And looks like Garcia is now going to clear M Saatchi for third, now looking for second on the 10. And this will be interesting. Does Adam Garcia got a car strong enough to get up there and wrestle the lead, the win away from his teammate? He's going to clear Acosta off of turn 2. So Young Motorsports currently first and second. Dylan Young, who's already got a victory this season at Manassas. He's fifth in the overall points. Teammate Adam Garcia looking for his first career win the Duracell Cup Series. He's 33rd in points. Who wants it more? Last time by, it was about 0.4 of a second separation between the 2 and the 12. We'll see if that increases or decreases, as it will be 10 to go when Dylan Young hits the line this next time by. Got a couple of drivers that have popped up here into the top 10 late. At that time, 8 100ths were chipped away by Adam Garcia. He is slowly closing in, but how about Michael Norman and Cole Deaver? They are now up inside of the top 10 in 9th and 10th place. And look at this. First and second in points, nose to tail in 11th and 12th, Rogers and Watson. And Watson says, I don't want to come in behind you again in the finishing results. He's going to make a move for 11th on Zach Rogers. Hard battling here, 3 wide. Deaver, Shelton, Jack Mitchell, Michael Norman in this mix as well. This is for around 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Deaver's going to pull away from that one. He's going to be firmly in control of 7th for the moment. He's got a strong car, too. He might crack the top 5 here before this race is over. As Dylan Young looks in his rearview mirror and sees the blue and gold of the Irwin Industrial Tools Mustang, his teammate Adam Garcia now hounding him for the race lead with less than 10 to go. If these two start getting racy, Ryan Acosta might be able to get back into this fight as well. Garcia right on the back bumper this next time around. When they hit the line, there's going to be 7 laps to go. How long do you wait if you're Adam Garcia? I don't think he's going to wait very long. He is right there, trying to see what he can get away with as he pulls almost up directly to the bumper. He's got to make up his mind when he's going to make that move, because as I'm looking at the intervals, Ryan Acosta is slowly starting to close in on these guys. And the last thing Garcia wants to do is have to change his mindset of charging, trying to take the lead away from Dylan Young, and have to switch gears to defend his position from Ryan Acosta. Still got a little time to work with, though. Be 5 laps to go when he hits the line next time by. I think maybe he wants to be in that second position, be the aggressive one, rather than have to pass Dylan Young and defend against him for 3-4 laps. But how long can he wait? Boy, he got right up to the back bumper again there. Tries to get the run through the center and off the corner. He's just got to, I think what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to drive it in deep at some point and try moving Dylan Young out of the way. Right now, he's being nice. When we get to about maybe 2-3 laps from now, he can't be nice. He's got to move him out of the way. We already checked off Charles Sandfer from the list of drivers that took the green flag in the Season 1 Daytona 500 that picked up their first career win. Garcia is on that list. Will we check him off here today? Ryan Acosta is closing in, and so too is M Saatchi, who, remember, I feel has the best long-run car. And they are all blanketed under 0.7 of a second. 3 to go this time at the line. Nose to tail. Garcia's close enough. Will he make the move this time? Oh, he was close enough. He could have bumped Dylan Young up the track if he wanted to. He's going to lose a little bit of ground there as he had to check up through the center of 1 and 2. Cole Deaver's up to 5th. That could be the fastest car on the track right now. He's moved up into the top 10 and now up into the top 5 in the final 15 laps of this race. He's looking for 4th on M Saatchi. Don't know if he's got enough time to get up here and battle for the lead, though, as it's 2 laps to go. Garcia still looking, continuing to feather the throttle behind Dylan Young. There's a win just in his grasp, but his teammate Dylan Young is in his way. He can't wait now. He's going to have to make the move this time because the white flag is going to be displayed. He's got to drive it in deep into turn 1. He can't wait any longer. He can't be nice any longer. Garcia trying to get the run here through the center. He'll try and follow this momentum on the back straightaway. He didn't lift. He's right on the back bumper. He's going to have to look low here in 3. Will he drive it in deep? Dylan Young going to move down to the white line, try and block him. Garcia had to lift a little bit, and Dylan Young's going to hold off his teammate, deny him his first career win. Dylan Young's a 2-time winner in the Duracell Cup Series Season 3. What a battle between teammates there. And if I had been Garcia, I would have moved Dylan Young out of the way. He's already got a victory this season. Garcia hasn't got one yet in his career. Boy, you gotta wonder what's going through the mind of Adam Garcia right now. Did he want to move Dylan Young out of the way? Because he was close. He was close enough to do it several times. He could have bumped Dylan Young up the track, moved him up into that outer groove, and passed him for the race lead, but he did not. Wow. You gotta feel for Adam Garcia, but Dylan Young may have just locked himself into the playoffs now. He's the first 2-time winner on the season with wins at Manassas and here today at Pikes Peak International. And you go back-to-back weeks, let's be honest, back-to-back weeks, green flag pit stops have basically decided our race winner. Last week, green flag pit stops put N Hudson out in front. He went on to win the Michigan race. Green flag pit stops and that caution coming out right in the middle of him put Dylan Young out in front, and he never lost the race lead after that. It's a 1-2 finish for Young Motorsports here today with Dylan Young and Adam Garcia. M Saatchi moved up to 3rd. Cole Deaver, boy, I would have loved to have seen if we had maybe another 8 to 10 laps to see what Cole Deaver would have been able to do, because I think he had the fastest car on that last restart. Ryan Acosta is going to bring it home in 5th. Charles Sandfer in 6th. 7th was William Brock. 8th place for Michael Norman. Jessica Shelton in 9th and J Millz in 10th, so a good run for 3 of the 4 S3 Motorsports cars, finishing in 4th, 6th, and 9th here today. Jack Mitchell started on the pole, was up in the top 10 most of the day, but he faded back there near the closing stages to 11th, 12th for Levi McIntyre. A good run for him, a good comeback run after the hardships of Michigan last week. Charles Belding, good run for the rookie in 13th. Thibodeaux in 14th, so a good run for him. And Benny Watson finishes in 15th. A driver that faded back there in the closing stages big time was Zach Rogers. He fell all the way back to 23rd in the finishing results. So I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he got kicked to the outside line, was never able to recover the spots he lost. But boy, he dropped a long ways back. Watson's going to finish 15th. Rogers going to finish 23rd. That's at least 8 points that Watson's going to gain. So it'll be probably about 11 point separation between Zach Rogers and Benny Watson heading into next week. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, everyone finished the race and everyone finished on the lead lap despite there being 3 cautions. A couple of drivers I'd be a little bit worried about with where they are, though. Carson Gum there in 33rd. He was only 20th in points coming into this race. And N Ormond, I think, is going to be the big one. 40th today, dead last. He was 26th in points, 10 points ahead of the cut line. Don't know if he's going to remain in the top 30 in points or not. And James Qualls, after back-to-back good runs, the win at Pukekohe and the solid outing last week in Michigan, 37th for him. He started way at the back anyway, never really was able to gain a whole lot of track position, so this could very well drop him back outside of the top 10 in the standings. But that's going to do it here today from the Pikes Peak International Raceway. Dylan Young, a 2-time winner here this season, picking up his 2nd checkered flag on the year. He is going to head into next week with a lot of momentum, as next week we will be at the Texas Motor Speedway. Should be an exciting 1.5-mile D-shaped oval, and should bring about some really good racing there. We could have ourselves a surprise winner in that event also, but we'll have to wait and see. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race here from Pikes Peak. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finishing results, and these are what your point standings look like heading into next week's race at Texas Motor Speedway. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching the production of the SRA, offline racing at its best.